Hey, BookTube, Chelsea the Reading Outlaw here to do a Friday Reads. Hey, it's Friday. I don't know what I'm doing with my body, friends. It's Friday. I'm so glad. Oh man, this week has just been like a week, so I am just. Let's talk about the book, shall we? Let's talk about the wonderful things that I've just finished and that I am going to start and I'm reading and all of those lovely Friday reads, catch-up things. I just finished reading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I was doing a buddy read with Joss from Squibbles Reads. I will link her channel down below. We had some different feelings. I feel like this book was different for each of us because we came in with a different level of kind of like a background. If you don't know what The Song of Achilles is about, it is Madeline Miller's historical fiction take on the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles. They are the heroes of the Trojan War. Achilles was the greatest fighter ever known to Greece, and Patroclus was his best friend, and this book posits also the love of his life. The story ends super tragically, so trigger warnings for the bury your gay trope, as well as pretty violent, like wartime conflict. So there's sexual assault mentioned, as well as just general bloodshed and violence. If any of those things bother you, you should probably know about. But this book is gorgeous and lyrical. This book is one of my perennial faves. I've read it almost every year for the past like 3 or 4 years now. I just really love it. It brings me a lot of bittersweet joy and a lot of beauty, I think, in the way that Madeline Miller tells it. It is not a perfect book, but it is a book that I will always enjoy reading, and reading it this time was absolutely no different. And then I have 2 things on audio. The first one is I just started and I'm about like 10% into the Southern Reach trilogy. The first book is called Annihilation, but I have Area X, which is actually the 3-book bind up on audio. So the first and second book are each narrated by an individual narrator, and then the third book is a rotating cast featuring 3 narrators. So I'm only in the first book, but I'm really enjoying it. Kay recommended picking this up on audio if you're going to read it, and I would like to read it before the movie comes out. So I was just waiting for my library hold to come in, and then it came in, so I started it. It is not super weird yet, but it is definitely going down the path of weirdness, and I already know in advance that this book does get very weird and trippy and surreal and fever dreamy, so I'm like here for that. I'm really enjoying the narration. I do agree that I don't know if I would be as into it if I weren't listening to it, but I'm really enjoying getting through it, and I'm glad I'll be able to get to it before the movie comes out. I'm also about halfway through Asteroid Hunters by Carrie Nugent. I just started this on lunchtime, but it's only 2 hours long. It's actually basically kind of an extended TED talk about exactly what it sounds like: asteroid hunters, people who hunt asteroids. If I've never told anybody this, I have a very irrational fear of the world being destroyed by an asteroid while I'm alive. It is one of those very specific kind of apocalyptic scenarios that like I is always kind of just like there being super terrifying to me. And yes, like I said, I know that's not rational, but it is what it is. So I'm finding this book equal parts fascinating and repulsive because I love science. I love books about the people who do science and who devote their lives to things like hunting asteroids and basically saving all mankind by inventing ways to divert total annihilation by an asteroid hitting us and all of those things. But at the same time, an asteroid might hit us and there's not a lot science can do about it. And I'm just like, too much, guys, too much. But the book is great. It's incredibly easy to listen to. If you've ever heard a TED Talk before, it's got that same kind of like companionable, listenable style, that easygoing, almost like narrative-y nonfiction that really pulls you in and makes you interested. It's not very long. I'm gonna finish it up tonight, but like, holy fuck, you guys, asteroids are so scary. They're so scary. I can't even like think about it too much. And then the other book that I'm reading is an ebook, Kigali of the Bells by Daniel Clayton. I'm so excited to have this book. This book was on our podcast episode of my most anticipated 2018 reads. It is a book set in the province of Orleans, which is kind of like New Orleans, but not. And it's this like sci-fi kind of like, it's not dystopian, but it's like kind of along those lines. If you ever read the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld, it's similar to that in that it is a world in which beauty can be bought and traded, and people who don't have the ability to do that are not physically beautiful and thus don't have any say or power in society. And it's about the bells, who are the people who sell, who do the beautifying, basically, who work the magic to make people beautiful, who take the money. It's about a competition to become the belle for the queen, the one who does all the royal making people beautiful and who is essentially an artist of physicality but for royalty, and it's just so great. Our main character is a woman of color, it's written by an author of color, and it just is such a good spec fic like fantasy world. It is using magic and color and vivid color description in the same way that I really wanted from Furthermore by Tahira Mafi, but it's not getting itself bogged down in that, and the plot is still progressing really well, which was my big problem with Furthermore. So I am really loving it. I'm only about 10% in, but I'm taking my time because it's delicious and I love it. So yeah, that's what I'm reading, friends. Hopefully by this time next week, all of that will be done and I'll be on to new things, but you never know what life is going to throw your way. So let me know down below what you're reading, what you have going on this beautiful Friday, how your week was, all of those fun things. I do want to hear from you. As always, I'm always here to talk books. You can find me all over Twitter and of course here on YouTube. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Happy reading, friends. Bye.